Welcome to the F2FHQ podcast. I am your host, Carol Salva of the Firearms Radio Network. In this podcast, we are chronicling our journeys. Not really, not lately. We are chronicling our journeys from fat to fit. We talk about pursuing a healthier lifestyle. We just talk about it. We talk about pursuing a healthier lifestyle, not only in diet, but in all areas of life. After 3 years, I think I'm not kidding anybody. We talk mostly about diet. We chronicle the fact that it's very hard to get motivated. And that is probably why, no, that is exactly why, one of the reasons why you have not heard from me in a while. And so I'm very sorry about the big, long, period of radio silence. But it is not indicative of how much I care about the community, because the community has been saving me lately. I've just had a year of, not super motivated to do this stuff. And, I go back and I try to get a show together and watch stuff that people helped me with. And I'm re-inspired and I have life again for a little while. It's just lately, my job, I'm very fortunate to get to work with some students, middle school age kiddos that they're trying to navigate their way through our education system, and they're brilliant. They're so smart, but they're only going to learn what I teach them. And so I really feel like I need to dedicate as much time as possible to helping them close gaps if possible. And it is possible. And so that's part of it. The other part is definitely I have not had my head in the game. But regardless, I did want to make sure, and this Tough Mudder recap show came out. Oh my gosh, if you didn't get to see the video that Jen did from Jen from Girls Like Guns 2, please check out her YouTube channel at Girls Like Guns 2, or go to our Facebook page, and her video is there, her recap from our time in the desert in Las Vegas. It was amazing. I was so unmotivated. I was a big downer to everybody. Arturo and Heron drove, like they had their own Tough Mudder mudslides in California, and they were driving just to come support us. And then they got there, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do any of these anymore. I'm really not into it. What a downer. Everybody just helped everybody else. And Jen from Girls Like Guns 2, she signed up for another one right after we left because she was so inspired. Hammer Jammer was awesome as always, our leader. So look at her video. Her video is very well done. This video, I don't know. So let's go. I'm going to give you some footage of just before we went to, to tackle this whole entire day in the desert. My friends Bill and Carolina came from Houston, and everybody can tell you, man, we did not run one step. We did not jog one step. So we were the first ones out there before dawn, and we closed the place down. We walked across the finish line just like we walked across the starting line. And it was the desert. It was hot and dry and difficult. So we earned those headbands, and kudos to the gun runners, man. Best group of people you can imagine. If you're not doing stuff like this, you don't have to do stuff like this, but I think you'd be surprised at how motivating it is for a big group of people to help each other through stuff if you've not participated in something like this. And Tough Mudder is doing Tough Mudder halves now. So you can do this on a 6-mile run. What's your excuse? All right, let's go see what these guys have to say. They're awesome. Yeah, we have all our junk food around too. Welcome to the F2FHQ podcast. I am your host, Carol Salva of the Firearms Radio Network. Not live, from Las Vegas. And I have some of the gun runner team here. Come around here. Okay, there's Jen from Girls Like Guns 2. She's right by the stripper pole right here that's in our living room. And we have, Hammer Jammer, of course.
Hey, everybody. We be jamming all day long.
Hello, audience.
We've got Arturo.
Hello, audiences.
And Heron.
Hi.
We would turn it around and like be sitting at the table. That's probably what we should do, except we have too much junk food. And we don't want to show you all our junk food. These are our cocoa-covered almonds that we're masking as food on Course Nutrition.
Cocoa's for antioxidants, right?
We went out and we ate a steak on the strip tonight, and that was awesome. What was that?
Baguettes of bread.
Baguettes. Yes. Multiple.
Yes, we did low carb tonight.
Yeah. What was with the sweet wine? Where did that?
The Riesling wine or
Riesling. We had a Riesling. It was yummy.
Very good one. It's a very good one.
Escargot.
Escargot. We treated ourselves. Snails.
And desserts.
All the way to Vegas for snails.
Don't forget the desserts.
And dessert.
Ice cream and chocolate and all kinds of stuff. But, that's what...
We're car backloading for tomorrow.
And that's what they call a last meal, right? So we are well aware that it may be our last meal. So we just want to make sure we treat ourselves well, right? Yeah. So along those lines, Jen from Girls Like Guns too. Any last words?
To all those that know me, I'm sorry. No, that's all I can say. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're going to get more positive words from Hammer Jammer, I'm sure.
Yeah. To those who are about to die, we salute you.
You may now sign your death waivers.
Right.
Yeah, I printed extra death waivers. So.
Yeah, they're on the pool table, right behind these guys. See the pool table?
But in full disclosure, Heron and I, we are just going to record the events. So.
Yeah, that's what they're saying now.
That's
what they're saying
now. And we will notify next of kin.
Mud and lightning.
Oh,
Mud, lightning, and electronics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and if Carol decides to strip down again before each obstacle, we will keep her clothes dry.
Oh, thanks. And it's kind of hard to do when you're traumatized, but I would appreciate it. And Heron, do you have anything you want to say to anybody out there? Death waivers, woohoo! Oh, we have Bill and Carolina Schmidt, who are not here, but we were with them on the Vegas Strip just a little while ago, and they're very pumped because they are Legionnaires, just like me and John. So they're coming back for more, and I predict that Heron and Arturo are going to get hooked, and you're going to have your own death waiver that you're going to be signing sometime in the near future. But I did want to record a little bit because it's the night before. We went out on the Vegas Strip. We had fun. We walked around. We saw the sights. And now we're ready to go to sleep, get a good night's rest, and get out there early in the morning for the rainy day.
I already did my Tough Mudder run because of the mudslide.
I know.
Roads.
Our photographers drove through literal mudslides in California that were on the news. And so your 8-hour drive turned into what?
18 hours.
18 hours.
We backtracked like at least 3 times. I know that much. So, yeah.
So we're so grateful.
Yeah. But we are fortunate. I mean, we could have actually been in the actual. I mean, because there were actually cars that got stuck and covered in mud. Well, the fatalities wasn't due to the mud itself. Apparently, some gentleman was driving, and I guess in an effort to avoid the traffic, I guess he lost control in the rain, and unfortunately, But so I guess you could attribute it to the mudslide in the way, but yeah. Yeah, but still, it was crazy. Like, one major interstate was closed due to mudslide, and then like a bunch of state highways were closed and some just for flooding too, because flash flooding closed a lot of roads, at least temporarily. So.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one of my headbands for that, just for driving here 18 hours through the mud. Okay, I'll give you each a headband.
And 3 minutes on the strip.
Yeah, no extra charge for the stripper pole.
Yeah, classing it up.
Oh my God!
It's Vegas, baby.
That's it.
This is the problem. It's supposed to stay here, but it's not staying here. We're broadcasting it.
You need to show them the purple pool table.
Yeah, I can real quick. Yeah, turn on those lights.
I just want to say to the listeners out there, don't share this with anybody.
Yeah, it's our secret. It's our secret. Okay, let's see if we can get some of this. All right, so this is our party house. There's a pool outside.
Oh, the chair.
And that chair is the best ever. Go sit in that chair.
Yeah, we need to give the chair a scale. It's like Alice in Wonderland or something.
Seriously. I know. I don't know how to get you in it. There we go. Perfect. Well, Tim, I know. Okay, so we have the place you need to stay when you come to Vegas. Yeah. Red walls, purple walls, pink walls. It depends what room you're in. But, we got to show that chair over there. I'm going to try not to show all of our bad snacks. Don't look at the kitchen. But this chair is pretty awesome right here. Yeah, that's a pretty cool chair. And there's a futon, and there's the pool outside. That's about it. Okay. I think we're done. I think we're good.
We'll see how sure we are tomorrow.
This is a very, Blair Witch Project kind of podcast, but sorry. We'll have better video or worse video tomorrow. We don't know. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Say bye. Gun runners.
Bye,
Everybody's going to say bye.
Don't forget to ride. See you when we get there.
If you're not doing this with us, we feel sorry for you. Okay.
Gun runners, F2FHQ, Girls Like Guns Too, media, we're all here. Welcome everybody. Carol, hello.
I'm finally in the mood to do this now that you're here.
Now understand that Carol is tiny, so
Big girl on a big chair on the purple pool table.
it is gorgeous.
We ordered this for Jen.
Oh, for me? Okay, fellow Tough Mudders, say hello to the camera. Don't worry, Heron, I'll ask your permission before I post these on YouTube. So, where are we?
We'll go down.
Hello from Girls Like Guns Too, F2FHQ, Gun Runners. We're in Las Vegas, going to the Tough Mudder, gonna get just ridiculously crazy, and hopefully we all make it out alive.
Okay? Yea, though we walk into the valley of mud, we shall fear no evil, for we are the meanest swimming fish in that goddamn valley. But if the unthinkable happens and I should die here, do not bury me in this forsaken place. Burn! Scatter my ashes to a frog each wind! Get me the hell out of here! Alright, on three. Back to pitch. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Back to pitch!
Damn it! Why am I here?
Vegas. You guys say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
These are the gun runners. They're part of the gun runners. And yeah, we did Las Vegas and it was fantastic. And I'm hoping to talk to each one of these guys a little bit. Some of them came to be photographers, but we sucked them in and they did some of the course. They did all of the course with us, really. It was just fantastic. And so I just want to hear some thoughts from each person, because we have a lot of people who immediately say, I can't do that. I couldn't do that. How do y'all do that? So I'm hoping you guys give some insight, some honest insight, because it was not easy. And then we do have 12 minutes of footage of Jennifer talking about her experience. Let's hear what you guys have to say. What would you tell people out there? How was your experience? John, let's start with you. You're a veteran now. You're a veteran of the armed forces and now a veteran of Tough Mudder.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Tough Mudder is pretty interesting for me. With I'm the living proof that there isn't anybody that can't do it. Okay, if you can motivate yourself to just keep moving through the 10 miles, you can get through the course, and you can have a good day. You can have a good time. I have some pretty severe limitations in my knees, and so there's fair few of the obstacles that I just couldn't do, and some of them that I think with some more training I couldn't do this time that I might be able to do next time. And you improve a little bit every time you do it. Every course is significantly different. The two that I've done, okay, they couldn't, and Carol, I know you're shaking your head, they could not be more different.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Than Chicago to Las Vegas. Okay. I mean, the Mud Mile in Chicago was the Mud Mile and a half. Okay.
That was the wettest course I've ever been on.
And
it was insane.
that entire course had, even in the places where it wasn't necessarily supposed to be muddy, it still had 3/4 of an inch of this slick sliding mud on it. So in preparation for that, right, I wore cleated shoes for this one that I really didn't need. Okay, the Mud Mile on this one was all of about 150 yards.
And you wore cleat.
Yeah. So, but they didn't hurt. They didn't really hold me back. It just probably had I known how dry that course was going to be, then I could have worn like my Vibrams or something and been a little bit more comfortable. But I mean, it wasn't a big. They really didn't change what I could or couldn't do. So that's the Vegas course. The hills. Jen mentions this in hers, but the hills, they're not insignificant. From an old infantry point of view, they're not that bad either. Okay, you just gotta every once in a while you just gotta stick your head down and worry about the next 6 feet. Okay, instead of where the top is. And going down, you've got to be pretty careful going down on that terrain. The downhill stuff has a lot more potential for injury than the uphill does. Okay, a lot of loose rocks and things like that. So that was a concern of mine, but I mean, as it was, never went down. Never went down on the ground unintentionally. Let me put it that way. So
not between obstacles.
Yeah. So, but we did, and I did probably 2 or 3 more obstacles this one than I did in one in Chicago. So.
Yeah, you're killing it, John. Awesome.
I wouldn't go that far, but it didn't kill me. So here I am. So, and I got to give Carol. Carol's get a big stand-up credit for being one of the people that helped carry me on the one where you were supposed to carry people on your back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she wouldn't let me carry her until she had helped carry me. So that's Carol's leading from the front on that one.
That's so nice of you. But we all pitched in, and that was always fun. You're supposed to. I don't know what they call that one, but you carry each other halfway, and so we teamed up and we all carried each other, and that was so much fun.
It took all of them to carry me.
Speaking of them, Carol, you left out 2 mudders.
Oh, I did. Carolina, who is my friend, Carolina Schmidt, and Bill Schmidt are from Houston. And we need to get some feedback from them because they did Tennessee with us when we had a big group go to Tennessee this time. Yeah. No, it was in the spring, I guess last year. And man, they're a married couple. They've been married about 11 years or 10 or 11 or 12 years. And they did that Tennessee one, and they enjoyed it so much. They're so funny. It's so fun. They have little bitty kids. Mm-hmm. And one that's in high school, but they just had a baby a couple years ago. And so they've decided they're doing one every year as a couple. So they couldn't wait to come to Vegas. She'd never been to Vegas. They're very fun. They're very inspiring. They encourage each other a lot. And they were just...
William did every obstacle.
He did.
Every obstacle.
He did that in Tennessee, too. He just challenges himself to do every single obstacle. And, I mean, it doesn't mean that he dominates every obstacle or that he completes every obstacle, but he's going to try it, and he does quite well on most of them. But at the same time, he was happy walking the entire course with us. You know, they didn't set out to even jog a little bit like us. They were happy to walk every step of the way. So they're pretty fantastic. Thanks for bringing that up, Arturo, because they were awesome additions to our team for sure. They helped us a lot, but we helped them too. Everybody helped everybody. I think that was a really tough course. And you know, being out in the desert, it was so. We were lucky that it wasn't so hot, you know, October, but it was dry, and it did get hot in the middle of the day. It got hot. Do y'all remember, like Karen? Do you remember what time we got out there and what time we finished up? About? Or Arturo, does anybody remember?
Well, we started our race, the time we started, the MUDDER was 8:45. That was when we started.
8:45?
8:45,
Yeah, we actually, I think we hit the starting line somewhere close to 9, and then it was definitely after 5 p.m. when we finished.
Yeah.
I tell people we started around 9 in the morning. And we finished at 5 at night, just like a 9 to 5 job, like the entire.
Yeah, the sun, because it was dark by the time we got out of Taco Bell on the way home. So.
Oh my gosh! And it was dark going.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was I've never took that line, but we wanted to make sure we walked every step of the way, and we wanted to take breaks. Yeah. And there was a lot of uphill. I know you don't think that, being an old infantry guy, John, but the hills to us are very challenging, or to me, and I know to Jennifer and to Carolina. It was extremely challenging to be, you know, just dry in a dry climate like that, and all those little bitty rocks. Like you're constantly stepping on rocks because your paths were filled with rocks. And so you just feel like a goat all day, up and down and up and down and up and down. It was just hot. I mean, it was just dry. I didn't think there were enough water stations.
Well, I'm taking the words right out of my mouth. They should have had at least one station within every mile of the course, and there was sometimes you had a 2.5 mile.
And there's no shade. There's no shade. That's the other thing. There's no shade. Even at the I think at the water station, they should have had actually shade for everybody at the water stations, and they should have had at least I think they had only 4, and they should have had at least 6 water stations.
Yeah, we walked right by our cars at one point. We should have gone to get some waters out of the car. But some of those obstacles, Well, let me ask you guys, because Heron and Arturo, y'all were, and thank you so much for being the most awesome photographers in the world. You guys were so great. They had media passes, and their media passes, poor Jen in Chicago, she got gypped. Her media pass they didn't give her the real media pass. They gave her a spectator pass. And so she could just do the spectator route, which is a fraction of the course. But Aaron and Arturo, we made sure that didn't happen again. And they got media badges, and they got access to the full course. And the only danger with that is that you end up doing pretty much the whole course almost. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, I was honest because I didn't want to again cause trouble for you, Carol, or ruin it for the next time. So I pretty much walked the whole course with you all, but I didn't go through any obstacles. I just don't know. And it's pretty obvious. I would get there and film you guys. So I would go up ahead of you guys, and I don't know if the media passes help, but I didn't find anybody telling me that I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I pretty much went anywhere I wanted, and I just filmed, and so I got most of the obstacles. Unfortunately, I had to take a time out three-quarters of the way through because of my shoe issue. So
yeah, it was awful terrain. It was really hard.
Oh, and you helped the guy out. He saw this guy came out of a porta potty and he has this X sign.
Yeah, we were this was halfway through. Yeah, halfway through, after mile 4 or 5. You remember that one? Remember that place that I think was halfway through? We basically came back to, base camp or whatever, and they had showers and porta potties. Do you remember that part of the course?
Yes.
Yeah. So we were there waiting for you all to show up, and I'm like, well, we both decided to use the porta potties, and then while waiting for you to show up, I saw a guy come out, and he basically just came out of the porta potty and then kind of just not quite collapsed, but basically just laid himself down like he was in pain. So I went over to check him out to see, hey, is he really in trouble, or is he just resting, I guess. But yeah, so he was basically having a bad cramp because he was dehydrated, and he was cramping up, and so I checked him out, and I was trying to stretch his leg and ease the pain of the cramp, and yelling for people to get the medics, which they told us, oh yeah, there'll be medics everywhere. I didn't see that many medics.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of signs, that said medical aid, but I didn't see very many people actually, even at the obstacles, really, waiting to help somebody. So anyway, so luckily someone finally went into one of the tents and grabbed somebody, and they came and took him away. So I guess he didn't get his headband.
Oh, plus it's hard.
And then along a lot of people having cramps too. Apparently, it's I don't think they're hydrated enough.
Yeah, because I ended up with cramps around around mile 7 and 8, 7, 8, and 9. There, I had to sit out for a while. On that one.
Yeah, we did. We sat out for a while. At least I skipped. I don't know what obstacle in a chunk of the course, because it's just I just don't see any point in really, really, really pushing myself. If I did 9.6 miles versus 10 miles and all those obstacles, and it's going to be better to sit. I mean, there was no shade.
Yeah, I mean,
no shade whatsoever.
I mean, we're not kidding. This is like Nevada desert. So for people, so there was no shade. There wasn't even a cloud in the sky, and I was hoping for rain.
No. So there was a little.
It had been raining before. You remember the days leading up to it? It had rained, and then suddenly, on the Tough Mudder, where you want rain, it doesn't rain.
I know. I would have welcomed some rain.
Yeah. So I mean, I had I was clothed, but I had short sleeves. I didn't have long sleeves. But other than that, I had pants. I didn't have shorts. I had a big floppy hat. I had my shades and everything, and well, both me and John, I think after mile 7 or 8, he had to rest, and I had to also kind of take a time out and lay in the shade because I was starting to feel a headache coming on, and also I wasn't sweating, which I knew was a problem. So,
it was a problem. At that point of the day, you should have been sweating a lot.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, we were out there so long. I mean, that was the thing. We were out there from well, I mean, at that point we had been out in the sun, direct sun, for what, 5 hours at least? I think?
6 hours, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know, I just, and I was hydrating, I was drinking and everything, but, you know, I think I just needed to get out of the sun, you know, because, you know, I'm not used to being out in the sun, you know, 8 hours a day, especially direct sunlight like that, so.
Yeah, and you know, these runs usually have so many water obstacles. You even when it's hot, like really hot, there'll be a water obstacle. Like Tennessee was very hot, very, very hot. But there's shade. You're walking through the woods for part of it, and then you get to something and you have to jump in the water, swim through the water, get out of the water. And there were just not very many water obstacles. I mean, because it was the desert.
I think Heron. I mean, you know, Heron. I mean, she was a trooper. I mean, I think she handled it better than anybody. But she started to get overheated too. And so, Heron, you want to tell everybody your Arctic enema story?
Yeah.
I think it was one of the last obstacle, and I was just so hot. I was overheated. I was like, let me do this. And it was very cold, but it was fun, and it definitely cooled me off. So I have fun. I like doing that.
Oh my God, it was so fun to do it with you. Heron and I and Jen all went at the exact same time. Carolina said no because she remembered that obstacle from Tennessee. She hated it, and she knew before she ever came to Vegas that was the one she was going to skip for sure. And
I don't think it was that cold. I mean, it was cold, but it wasn't that cold.
Yeah.
You know, you guys took such great video too. There's a bunch of video that Jen's putting together in a compilation, and Heron gets interviewed right after by Arturo, and she's like, "Yeah, it was cold, but it's not that cold. Like you warm up right away." I was like, "What? What did she go through? Which obstacle did she do?" Because I was insanely cold. There was ice. They were still putting ice in it. It was full of ice, but it was
for those who don't know, Arctic enema is basically you have to, like, I guess there's like 2 obstacles you have to either go over or dive under, but basically it's all full of ice water.
You have to go over it. Yeah.
It's a dumpster, a wide, long dumpster that they've lined and filled with ice water, and you slide down a slide into it, and then once you get into it and your heart stops and none of your muscles work, you have to climb over a wall and then jump into the other side of it and then get out of it.
Yeah.
There's 2 walls, remember?
2?
Yeah, there's 2 walls.
Yeah, there's 2 obstacles you have to, like, get under or over somehow to get to the other side.
And the slide is angled pretty steep to make sure that you go in fast.
God, it was awful.
It's almost like being in the what is it, the Polar Bear Club? You know, because you know, I mean, it's like 100 degrees plus Fahrenheit, right?
Yeah.
And then it's this really dry heat, and then suddenly you plunge into literally ice water. I mean,
I welcomed it at that point.
But this one, it was not. The shock was not as hard at the end as it was in the one in Chicago. When you're climbing out of that water, that ice water in 50-degree weather.
Yeah, that ice didn't help.
Chicago was a lot harder on your body than this one was.
Horrific.
I mean, it cooled Heron way down. She was recharged after that.
They had the stairs at the end of it so you could climb out. And the one in Chicago had no stairs at the end of it. You had another 4-foot wall to get over.
Oh, good night.
No, but Carol, I really give you props for doing that tower thing.
Which tower thing? Which
what you and Carolina? She wanted to go back down. And it's like, no, you can do it.
Okay, that obstacle I don't like. That was new, and I think it was because it was part of the landscape. You know, there was like a natural cliff. And how tall would y'all say that cliff was?
That was about 20 feet.
20 to 30 feet.
It felt like higher than 20 feet when I was up there. It seemed higher than that other one that you dive into the water. This was this super high cliff, and they built a structure to where you just climbed up to it. And we have some video of that too, but it was crazy tall, and there was just some, like, I don't know, mulch or something at the bottom of it. If you fell, it really felt like you were going to fall and break your neck. And it was just, I don't know how to explain it. There weren't very good things to hold on to. I was like, what's the big deal? We just climb up it and get over onto the top. And Heron was at the top to help us. But they just climbed up onto a platform. But it was insanely tall, and it psyched you out when you got up there. And I don't know, I didn't like it. I didn't think it was wise. And halfway through
Carolina has a fear of heights.
So for people who...
Yeah, Carolina has a fear of
heights.
heights.
So I mean, props on her. I mean, she actually did it, and she almost did it twice because, well, actually, I think it was your fault, Carol. She was like halfway up, and you said, which you never tell anybody who's afraid of heights, you never say, don't look down, because the first thing they're going to do is they're going to look down. And when she looked down, and she panicked. She's like, "Oh, I can't do this." And she got off. But good for her. I mean, we convinced her to try again, and we just said, "Don't look down. Just keep looking up." And she got up there that time.
Yeah.
So for people who want to know what it is, it's basically a cliff with scaffolding. Very wide space apart scaffold.
Yeah, you had to climb up scaffolding and then climb up to a platform about 25, 30 feet in the air. And it just didn't feel safe to me, and it didn't feel wise. And
but it did give you a nice ledge at the top to stand on for when you had to go over.
A little bit. It was very, very thin ledge.
Yeah.
Stand on. Oh, I hated it. So thanks for the props. Yeah. Well, I'd already skipped too much, man. I was like, and this was the first year that I did not make the half pipe, the Everest. I can usually get over that, but it all has to do with who's laying down at the top and how long their arms are, because it's really about grabbing somebody's arm and they're going to do all the work and pull you over. And I just couldn't find any really long-armed guys up there, like waiting for me.
And then what's the name of that other obstacle where you almost got suffocated by another guy because he was.
What?
Yeah, you had to crawl under something, and you said that this big dude, his side or whatever was like spilling over to you, and you had to let him get in front of you.
That was a crazy obstacle. That was something called, wasn't it called the birth canal or something like that? It was, and you were made to feel like that.
So it's basically like a big water balloon, and it's on you, so you have to kind of shimmy underneath it. So if a guy is bigger than you next to you, all the water is going to displace on someone smaller, which is Carol. So.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's just troughs of plastic, really, that they've set up, filled with water, and then you just have to get under them. But water is heavy to move it. And yeah, that guy, every time, we were just going side by side. We just happened to be going at the same time. And I was just squashed under all the water every single time. He was so big. Just a tall guy and a strong guy. And so that did not work in my favor to be trying to get through that with him. But on other things, that's perfect because we did the one with the net, where you have to, for a very long time, make your way under a cargo net. And, everything gets hung up, and it's really hard to get under it. But there's always somebody taller than me, and if I just get close to them, I can just walk next to somebody. That's not an obstacle at all. I'm so short. So sometimes it works for you, and sometimes it does not. But Jen, I was super proud of Jen because she almost didn't go. You'll see her footage. We'll splice in her 12 minutes of recap. My favorite thing she says on that is that the most fun of the whole thing is that we're all doing it together. And I agree. I totally agree with that. She talks about, and you'll hear her talk about how she wasn't going to do any of the obstacles. And immediately she tried an obstacle with us, and she did great. And so then she tried another one, and she ended up doing quite a few obstacles. Yeah. She was a rock star out there. We were so proud of her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but Heron also ended up doing actually more than 10 miles in Vibram.
in five finger toe Vibram.
Yeah.
More than 10 miles, Heron, because you had to backtrack, right?
Yeah, because because of me, because I also was wearing Vibram because someone told me it's Tough Mudder. That's the best shoe to wear for Tough Mudder because of all the mud. Because there is no mud in Vegas. I mean, literally, there was only like maybe three. There was only like maybe three, muddy obstacles, and that was about it. I mean, all the water obstacles. The only reason why they were muddy is because everyone's mud was washing off.
Yeah.
From the previous, but I mean, it was literally almost just all like just hard desert rock and whatever. But yeah, so I'm
right. Those shoes are the most perfect shoes if you're in
Chicago.
Chicago.
So anyway, so I like I felt every rock.
Ouch.
So when we finally it was around the 7th mile when we finally got back near where we were crossing near the cars. I told Heron, hey, I gotta go and change my shoes. I gotta put on my hikers. So we peeled off and lost you guys for a while I went and got my shoes and got those replaced, and that made it. That was like night and day difference. And then we had to basically walk the obstacle course backwards from mile 9 to catch up with y'all.
My goodness.
So then I think we caught up to you like mile 7 or 8 or something like that, and so.
Well.
So Vibrams is a great idea if it's really going to be muddy. Otherwise, you're going to have to wear real shoes.
But Taryn, they didn't bother you, right? Because do you do a lot of working out in those shoes?
Yes, I do. I walk on trails more on Vibram than on trail, so I'm used to it.
I mean, she runs also and jogs on concrete, so
yeah. If I hadn't worn those cleats, I would have been wearing my Vibrams.
Really?
I don't wear the 5-finger ones. I just wear, but they're still the tinsole flat, and it's I wear a new one.
It was the rocks because where there was just where it was just soil or like really small gravel, not a problem. But there was just way too many quarter size. Yeah, and there were sharp. That's the other thing. We're not talking Riverstone, right? So they're
all, those were.
Oh, it's painful.
Yeah, I felt that I count my blessings that one, not only did I not end up with bruised feet, I didn't get any blisters either. That was a miracle too.
Well,
we
came out fairly unscathed for everything.
I just had sore calves for like 3-4 days.
It's so hard to walk after. I always forget how sore my calves are going to be.
Well, and then the hardest part for me on this whole trip was the flight back.
Didn't you have a 24-hour flight back?
I had an 8-hour layover in the middle of the night in New Jersey.
Oh, goodness.
And the weather outside was in the 30s.
You are a tough man.
I left Vegas wearing a golf shirt and my sweatpants. Okay, and decided, well, I carried out my bag, I had my laptop bag and my carry-on bag, right? I said, look, I carried this on coming here because I didn't want to be waiting for stuff. So I'm just going to check the bag. So sweatshirts and jacket, anything that could have been warm was in my check bag. Okay. So the only way to stay warm in this terminal that closed for the night, basically everything was closed. There was no concession stands open, nothing from 11 o'clock until my flight. The other terminal I had to get to opened up at 5 in the morning. So from 11 o'clock till 5 in the morning, to stay warm, I walked. I got in another 14,000 steps.
Oh, my goodness.
Walking back and forth up and down here.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Kara, did you have your Fitbit on? I mean, I'm kind of curious how many steps you got.
I had mine on. I had over 34,000 steps.
For that day.
Mudder, just for the Tough Mudder day, yeah.
Talk about trips that were worse than the actual Tough Mudder. Arturo and Heron, tell us about your travel to come and be our photographers at your trip over to Vegas from California.
Yeah, we almost didn't make it. I mean, it was almost like a bad omen. But yeah, so from the Bay Area to Las Vegas, the shortest route is a 9-hour, drive on highway, state and interstate highways. But so we were about two-thirds there. It's after 6 hours or so. We were coming over, I guess the Sierra Mountains. Anyway, our real mountains here in California, and we were traveling on a Friday, and that Friday we got like our first real big storms here in the state, and a lot of roads flooded out, and there were also mudslides. So the route we were taking, where we got blocked off, it was a stretch of highway that got buried in mud for like 30 miles, I think it said on the news when we read later. So a 30-mile stretch of this state highway was covered in mud, and it got dry. I mean, it got cars. Cars were in it because people were driving, right?
Oh my gosh!
Heron would tell you, I was like mad. I was cursing up a storm because the worst part, it wasn't. I mean, I guess what really set me off and like where I lost it was that it wasn't so much that it was blocked and we had to find a new route. I mean, what can you do, right? The problem was that we were literally in like crawling bumper-to-bumper traffic for 2 hours just to find out that all we were going to do was get turned around and have to go back.
Oh.
I mean, I was like, and there was like no CHP or no one driving up and down the road to tell you what the heck was going on. I mean, they could have just told us, hey, the road's blocked, you're not going this way, if you could turn around now, because there were plenty of places I could have turned around, earlier than that, just cross the median. But yeah, I mean, and the people were taking forever to turn around too. I mean, they were like, everybody was like just stopping. Like, the cops were all there directing traffic. People are still like stopping at a stop sign, crawling, and because let me tell you, after going for like 1 mile an hour, once I got on the other side, coming back, I was going 75. So, I don't know why people were having such a hard issue, but anyway, yeah. So then we tried to come down a different route on Interstate 5, and then it turns out Interstate 5, before you got to LA, was also blocked due to rocks and mudslide.
Oh my God.
And then, so to make a long story short, what should have been a 9-hour drive ended up being 18 hours on the road to get to Vegas.
We rented a house there, and we had invited Heron and Arturo to come stay with us because Lisa Jarman, who already paid, she paid for y'all's room. She didn't want her money back. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh yeah, actually, you know what? I lied. We left Thursday. That was the thing. We were going to leave Thursday late morning, and then the plan was that I would arrive in Vegas at my brother's, because he lives in Vegas, just outside of Vegas on the north side. And so we were going to arrive around 9 p.m., maybe have dinner or whatever, and then go to bed, and then we would catch up with you on Friday.
Right.
Yeah, but lo and behold, here I am. I finally showed up at your house, 7 a.m. Friday.
I know.
Because I'm like, well, it's another 45 minutes to my brother's house, and I'm not driving a mile further, and I'm tired.
I know, we had a room for you. We had a nice, cozy room for you. Arturo was like, hi, and then he went and laid down, and we didn't see him again for another
Yeah, I mean, Heron stayed up, and you all went to like the Hoover Dam, right, or something like that.
That's right. Heron went with us on Friday. It was nice that we took an extra couple days to be in Vegas to hang out together, and we drove. None of us are big gamblers, but we did get to go out to dinner on the Strip. We
Friday night,
yeah, and everybody all together, the whole team. Even Carolina and Bill met us out near the Bellagio. Heron picked a great steakhouse for us, and we got to see the dancing fountains, and we have pictures on Facebook of all of that.
I think you checked us in, right at the table when we sat down. So.
Yeah, it was great. It was really beautiful weather, and then outside.
And we sat outside, perfect view of the Bellagio and the fountains.
I know. And escargot and wine and a bunch of carbs. We had all kinds of bread at the table.
It was a great night.
It was.
Yeah, we told ourselves we were car backloading.
Yeah.
It was.
So y'all were.
Well, that was too much fun. That night was really fun.
Yeah.
And then, but the day before, or that afternoon, I guess, was when we drove over. The Hoover Dam was, like an hour away or less.
Yeah.
It was very close, and I'd never been. A lot of us had never been, so that was great, and it was a good opportunity for Arturo to kind of catch up. He had been driving from us 24 hours. It was crazy. So yeah, we made more trips to Walmart in a 24-hour period than I ever wanted.
Oh, that's right. So you need to tell people about your burn.
Oh, stop! Yeah, for months. For months, we've been talking about, hey, yes, you see a lot of things in the media about people getting sick from the Tough Mudder and getting infections. But you know what? If you get a cut or something like that, don't go into mud. Don't go in with open sores and open wounds. Well, sure enough, I got a pretty bad burn just before I went, and it was really bad to where I did not want to go into any kind of water, or dirty water or mud with this burn. I was really freaking out about it, and that was very cool that Arturo and Heron showed up with not only these bandages that kept it completely waterproof, but Heron makes a salve. Is that how you say it?
Salve, yeah. It's a herbal salve.
It's salve.
SALVE.
Yeah.
And I think it's French or something. I don't know.
It's homeopathic. She makes it herself. It's better than Neosporin or anything. So I was very grateful. And then we find out Heron is doing all this homesteading stuff because Jen and I are asking her questions about these things she's pulling out of her bag. And this is what Heron does. She's got us all beat because she makes her own everything. She's, pretty much... aside from what meat and everything else you're growing and trying to create yourself or make yourself at home. Isn't that right, Heron?
Yes. I try to make everything myself. I just want to know what goes in it. And, it's better for you.
Sure.
But I'm fortunate because our situation can afford us to pursue this lifestyle,
Yeah.
So, and this is what we choose, and I love it. So we are healthy, we put, good quality stuff. So yeah, I like it. I like doing it. I mean, a lot of people don't like doing it because they would rather spend the money to go buy.
It's a lot of work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you don't have time, definitely go out and buy it. But if you're like me and want to make your own formula specifically for your needs, then yes,
Well, we were in awe. We just thought that was the neatest thing. This is one of the funnest things of being together for the weekend on something like this because we're all virtual friends. But when you spend a couple of days, John and I got to reconnect because we've spent time in Chicago and stuff together. And Jen, too. Jen and I had spent time there, too. And John's been down, and Arturo down to Austin. Now we've all connected more than once. So that was one of the most fun things is just that connecting and getting to know each other better. We got to know everybody's past, or childhood and stuff. It's just fascinating stories of how people grew up and how we got to where we are. And
that's what happens when you're on an 8-hour death march in the sun.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You just
tell somebody or we lost the history.
Yeah.
I did not
I
want
need to tell you my life story.
I know. Hey,
Tell my
it was
mom I
over
love
the
her.
Hoover. This is the Hoover Dam that I
Just
heard
don't
all
bury
about.
anything in this godforsaken place.
I didn't want to complain. I honestly didn't want to complain about being in the desert because obviously our soldiers and what they're doing in the desert for the last few years is so, it's nothing compared to that.
Yeah, it's only really tough, honestly, because we don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
It was hot, but it wasn't that hot.
No, it was a baby.
Yeah, so
Get up to about 120. Add a 65 or 70 pound rucksack with a 30-pound flak jacket.
Yeah, we're not carrying
instead of Vibrams, wear combat boots and wear your helmet. carry
Well,
it with them.
it's exactly like Arturo said. It's because we're not used to it. So it is tough for civilians. It is a very tough thing to do for civilians. That's why, I mean, I would give us all props for getting out there and completing it. And, you know, even our photographers, when they came through the finish line, with, you know, to record us, they gave them orange headbands. And I was like, you take that headband. You earned that headband. Because it is hard to just get through the course.
The terrain is like a big obstacle because it's so hilly.
Yeah.
It's, Carolina is so funny. She's like, another one? I said, yep.
I know.
Gonna be another one and another one and another one. It's just endless hills.
Endless hills. And it felt like they were all more uphill. Like there was more. I know that's not right. I felt like
I don't remember. I don't remember going downhill.
No.
Never.
But I'm getting downhill.
You don't remember it because that's the easy part. You only remember the hard part.
I know, but even some of the downhill, it was not easy downhill. It was like treacherous downhill, like John was saying. You could slip and fall, and
that's because of those rocks. You definitely could hurt yourself.
Twisted ankles and stuff. I saw a lot of people, like always, laid out from cramps. That is the most for people who are thinking about doing one of these. And it really doesn't seem to matter if it's wet or dry or cold. We always see people laid out because they're getting calf cramps. And they say that's from hydration, or you're just not used to the distance of just walking. I see a lot of CrossFit looking real solid looking jacked up people laid out holding their calves and just screaming in pain.
And their muscles are too dense, you know. It's just, you know, there's no flexibility.
You have to walk. You have to walk to get out
there. You never see marathoners that's all muscle. They're just lean and long.
Yeah.
Well, also, and I think the truth is also that the people that you saw laid out like that, those were the people who actually tried to run it. I mean, let's remember there were some people who actually ran the whole thing.
Most people at least started out running.
but most
not us.
They saw that first hill, because right at the start it's like a big long hill.
Yeah, rock on, people. Every time people would pass us running, I was like, yeah, you go. See you later. But it was funny because as soon as they said, they give you that pump-up speech. I love the beginning, and we're champing up. We have video of that, and everybody's getting all excited. And then they go, and everybody runs, and we start walking.
I mean, I think Karen said some lady was almost like running her over, trying to
she was like, go, pushing her. And she's like, you know we're going 10 miles, right? You got 10 miles. Like, where do you think you're going? So everybody ran ahead of us. We were immediately the last people. And then at the end of the day, we have footage very similar coming across the finish line, walking across. But we did it. You know, we did it. That's the point. And
brought everybody home.
Yeah, because I remember that in our, well, I guess for people who don't know, they do starts and waves, right?
Yeah.
You were in like several waves. So I don't know which wave we were in, but we were one of the early ones. But anyway, there was remember the group of guys who were dressed in cow shirts, or these shirts that So when we peeled off to go change my shoes, and we were like, I hope we didn't miss them. I don't think we missed them. You know, I was having doubts until I saw the cow dudes running up. And we're like, oh, well, we know Carol and them have definitely not passed them up. They were like,
those guys are running. They're actually running.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so that was what told me that I would eventually find you guys.
What a good landmark for you.
But you know what? You're talking about the start. You know, I think again back to Tough Mudder. I think the start of the thing is really indicative of the whole event. You know, because it's very positive and. You have the real uber crazy like super athlete guys who just want to do it, and but that's like a minority. Most people are just there to have a good time and challenge themselves. So everybody was friendly. It was you could strike up a conversation with somebody you didn't even know.
Right.
I
love mudders.
And I wish I missed it because I didn't, because Carol didn't school me on what to expect. I missed filming the swearing in thing. That was, I think, that would have been cool to have on video for people to hear and watch.
Yeah, yeah. I bet you could Google. I bet people are doing it out there, but I didn't think about that. But you're right.
The Tough Mudder Oath or whatever you call it.
Yeah. We should have. You're right. And but if anybody goes to do one, maybe we shouldn't, because it is such a nice thing when you get there and you hear it for the first time. What you promise and what you what you kind of.
And something else that just occurred to me, that since you've been to well, your headband says you've been to 7 now.
7 to 9. That's right.
This is your 7th one, right? Yeah.
This is my 7th. Yeah.
But did they always ask for volunteers to sing the national anthem at the start?
No, I've never heard that. But maybe they do, and I've never noticed. Or I mean, maybe they do now.
So they do the national anthem at the start of each wave, and they ask, anybody want to lead us in the national anthem? And some lady, she stood up, said, I'll do it. And she did a great job. I mean, she's not the greatest, but
she belted it out. It's impressive.
I mean, she did it. I mean, I think she did it way better than the average person.
Yeah. So that's inspiring. That whole, what are you gonna do?
She was not shy, right? I mean, because that's you're putting yourself out there. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Also, the little comedy. Does Tough Mudder beginning usually have a comedian come out?
No, that's the first comedian that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
the guy that did the motivational talk in Chicago, I thought was a fair bit better.
That's the thing.
Felt a lot more motivated. I mean,
this guy was great because he was funny and kept everybody laughing before we left. It's just a totally different style. In Chicago, it was a guy who really told a story about what kind of thing, what the run has done for people. He told about a guy who was, I think he had died, but he knew he was dying, and he'd done several of these because he was just going to live every day, trying to do something for the first time. And so that's why we started saying after that, because he said, just ask yourself, when was the last time you did something for the first time? And because when you do things for the first time, you really feel like you're living, and that's what life is supposed to feel like. And so, I mean, he just really built you up from that place, which is different. It's just different. And so, that was our mantra for the longest time. When was the last time you did something for the first time? But, that's what I kind of like about these runs too, and doing them in different cities. Like Carolina and Bill have decided to do one every year in a different city and experience a different city each year. And because it's something totally different. You don't know what to expect, weather-wise, terrain-wise, what obstacles, how the pump-up speech is going to be at the beginning. It's just there's always some old favorites of the obstacles, but there's usually new things you haven't seen. And just like Heron said, the terrain itself is usually some type of obstacle. I wouldn't mind doing Colorado. No, that's not true. I do not want to do Colorado.
If those things you were Colorado was going to bring you a whole new.
Well, you haven't done SoCal yet, right, Carol?
No. In Colorado, though, if you guys know Sean Heron from We Like Shooting, there's a wonderful picture that I can post of him completely bloody, his face, from the Tough Mudder that he did in Colorado. And he just, his head hit a barrel the wrong way and just opened up his scalp completely. And he just looks horrific.
Well, that's the thing with head cuts. They look worse than they actually are.
But afterwards, you can just see, even though it's all clean, it's more than one little cut. He just got totally tore up his forehead. But he told a story of going up a ski lift and water hoses, like fire hoses, where they were shooting them down so they couldn't get up the side. And I know. And then it's cold water, of course, mountain runoff, no matter what time of year. So I don't think I want to do Colorado.
Yeah.
What about Tahoe? Tahoe is really beautiful. Lake Tahoe?
I know, but it sounds really cold.
Well, it depends what time of the year.
Well, look at Sandy Dumont. I want to give a shout out to Sandy Dumont in Whistler, Canada, doing hers. It was freezing, I'm sure. Her team killed it. Yeah. Lisa Jarman was doing it in Florida. Can you imagine how hot and sticky and everything in the summer in Florida? I think they were, or maybe they were in the fall, but still.
Well, that would be like isn't there a Houston one? I mean, Houston's pretty hot and humid too.
Houston, right? I'm so sorry. I will never do Houston again. It's right here in our backyard. All my friends are like, hey, here's our chance to do one right here. But Houston, the lack of terrain is also an obstacle because it was flat. They did it at a course that was like a motocross course. I think there was a little bit of hills, but it was mostly flat around a track. And, you know, it was just, there was nothing scenic about it.
Oh, so you mean you were just going around the track almost the whole time?
No. That was just parts of it. You went around this track and then you went out into the land that surrounded it. But it was just a lot of flat walking. And again, there's nothing in the distance high to see, to look beautiful or anything. Just about 2.5 hours away from here, you can be in hill country. And so to do the one in the hill country that they have is a much better option because it is cool. What did you say, Heron, about what the pictures looked like? You used a couple words that were very cool to describe what the scenery looked like.
I think she said foreboding.
Oh. Yes. I think something like they're gorgeous and foreboding at the same time.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Just the landscape. It's so pretty, but so foreboding. It
was. Foreboding was a perfect word because when I look at the pictures, the background or that video, the background just looks like something out of a movie set. Like, it's like, what are y'all doing out there? It's like kind of dark in the distance sometimes because of the weather.
That's where we're going. That's where we're headed.
Oh my God!
But it's so pretty at the same time. That is so weird about that terrain. It's like it could kill you. You know, you look at that, you think you could get killed out there.
Yeah. Only idiots would go out there. No, but it was great, and I was just really appreciative that you guys did it. I kept saying it's going to be my last one. It's my last one because my job is just getting so heavy right now. I'm grateful for it. I feel like I'm doing some stuff that's going to make a real difference for the kids in our community and stuff. But it's
still do one a year.
Yeah, I think about it.
I mean, you have to get that last headband. You got 3 more to go.
I know. I still do 3 more.
That's the black one, I think, right? That's the 10X.
Yeah, after 2 more, because I get 2 more, they give me 2 more pink headbands.
Right.
The 10th one, you get the black belt. But the travel is what's killing me, is getting out of town and doing all of that. And it's a big expense and everything, but it's, you know, every time I do it, I'm so inspired by the other people, by the team. You guys were a fantastic team that just made me think, you know, this is how it's supposed to feel like when you're really living. And then when I get back, I always have people asking questions that have never done one. A teacher stopped me in the hall the other day. Hey, I saw your pictures on Facebook. Do you think I could do something like that? I don't think I could do something like that, but I want to do something like that. Like, you can totally do it. I mean, anybody.
Yeah.
So once a year, think of the Tough Mudder as your recharge, you know. Get a good team together.
What about y'all? Now that y'all have been photographers, Heron and Arturo.
Yeah.
We'd like to spectate.
See? Why do you want me to do it if you want to do it?
Because we want to film you doing it.
Oh, Heron, y'all can totally do it. You already did one.
Yeah, but if we do it, who's going to do the filming? That's the thing. You have to remember. Somebody has to record what happened for posterity.
I bet you we can find somebody else to.
No, but I'm thinking about it. But what's cool is that Jen signed up for the Tough Mudder. She has the Tough Mudder bug now.
She immediately signed up for Chicago again in the spring. I want to be clear that I told her I cannot do Chicago next spring.
But you get Jake and Mike to do it with her.
I was so impressed that she just said, okay, well, I'm doing it again. I know I'm doing it again. to go 180 from I'm probably not going to do it. I don't think I can do it. I'm really not trained to do it. I really don't want to do it.
Yeah, and she totally did it.
Hit me again, boss.
Right, she totally did it. So bravo.
Some cold water this time.
I think it is fun for someone who has never done an obstacle course before. I mean, I've done plenty of obstacle course before when I had to do my NCO training.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah. And so it's really fun doing it, you know, with your platoon, like a platoon, a team. It's a whole camaraderie, you know, camaraderie. I think it gets people going. Because if it's just you, if it's just you doing it, nobody pushing you and encouraging you, you might just give up, or just not push yourself as hard.
Right.
So, I think that's the best part of Tough Mudder is that they do mimic that that military aspect of it. That teamwork is more important than yourself, and doesn't mean that you complete an obstacle, you get to go run and do another one. You're gonna stay and you're gonna help, you know, your fellow Tough Mudder, and I think that's really cool. And everybody's in it too. They will stay, and I mean, I think the big guys always know that they have to help the girls out. So.
And John has a speech about halfway through. Now it's the second time he's given the St. Christmas Day. Oh, you can't hear us, John? No?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Aw. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me, Carol?
I can hear everybody. Yeah, I can even hear John. You can't hear us. But
should we talk about the very last obstacle that only building?
Okay. Well, John tries. Well, we can hear you, John. We can hear you.
Yeah, so the last obstacle is the electroshock therapy.
Oh my God! And they have upped the I don't know at the amp this
voltage.
Year. So
they upped the voltage. Some wires, the blue ones.
The blue ones were like 1.5 times stronger than the regular wires.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course,
but
Bill
he didn't read the sign. He didn't read it before it, so it wasn't until after.
If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Okay, I can't hear.
I'm sorry,
John. I don't know why. I lost all my sound.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when I told Bill that
it wasn't until he got shocked that we told him, didn't you read the sign to avoid the blue ones?
Yeah, and you know, he came out of it. I've never seen this. He went through pretty fast, but when he came out, he actually had whelps on his skin where those wires had touched him. And it broke the skin in a couple of places. Like, he had blisters. It was no joke.
He wasn't the only one. Yeah.
Oh, remember that girl? Oh my gosh. Oh.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at her. It was
I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we got there, Heron, you know, bless her heart, she's like, oh, so do you think if people can't get through, that their friends will come and help them? I said, heck no.
It's so painful. Who will go back in there and help somebody?
So that's the one point where, you know, everybody kind of doesn't follow the oath of leaving nobody behind, because you have to make that through. You have to get through that on your own, because your buddies are not coming back for you.
They did come back for her.
Well, at the end, so this poor girl, you know, there's like 3 berms you have to kind of crawl over, and at the same time being shocked. And she couldn't, I think she made it through the first one barely, and she couldn't make it the second one. So she just kind of stuck on the berm, getting shocked over and over, and she just couldn't get over it.
It was a hay bale. They were hay bales, yeah.
There were 3 rows of hay bales that you had to kind of jump over, crawl over, whatever. And the secret to that obstacle apparently is to get through it quickly, because the longer you take, the more agonizing it's going to be.
Of course.
That's what happened with
but she got frozen. She got frozen, and she just kept getting every time, you know.
I think at the third berm, she made it to the third berm, and then some guy decided to come back and drag her through to the end.
But she was crying, and she was saying, "Help me, help me!" And everybody was, And they keep saying that, just move, put one leg over the other. It's like, you have to do it. And she was crying, and it was so painful to watch this girl crying and saying, please help me, somebody help me.
And I'm over on the side. Is the first time I've skipped that obstacle, because I usually just say, okay, we're done, let's do this. And this time I was like, you know what, I'm just done.
You're
So
really done now, huh?
yeah, I felt really bad that I had skipped it. And then I'm watching this girl stuck in there. Oh, God. It's just awful. But anyway, she made it out. She earned her headband. I saw her drinking a beer later. She was fine.
Bill would have come back and got you. I think he would have come back and helped you.
Oh, yeah. Bill was a rock star of helping people. He was great.
Yeah.
They were so
for crying out loud, the guy did the Peace Corps thing.
Yeah, that's how he met Catalina in the Peace Corps. What cool people, right? They're awesome. So, I don't know. We should probably wrap up, because I know we're well over an hour now. And we're going to splice in Jen's 15 minutes of audio. So it'll be a very long show. But I did want to thank you guys, and anybody out there that doesn't know if you can do this or not, that's not the point. You can definitely do it. If you don't want to hurt yourself, make sure you get some walking under your belt, some mileage and stretching and stuff before you try to do 10 miles of anything. But it all has to do with your team. And we have had the best teams. The gun runners, you can't get better people. Yay. So, yay! Including our photographers. They're the gun runners, too. And we just appreciate Jen and John and Catalina and Bill and Heron and Arturo and everybody that sent kudos and encouragement. It was a fantastic day. I know John can't hear us, but wave, John, and everybody say bye. And then, you know, I did want to say really quickly, I'm not sure how many more podcasts I can do, because I'm just getting so snowed under with work and stuff. So I'll try, but if I don't, I love all you guys so much, and this has been just such an amazing part of my life that I hope I'm not completely pod fading.
Yes, you're not pod fading. Do not pod fade.
But if I do, it's probably a hiatus, and I'll be back. But I'm very grateful to have made connections with everybody in the MyFitnessPal community. Please come and check us out, because we can always connect there, and on, you know, Facebook and places like that. And I just really appreciate you guys a lot.
Thanks, Carol.
Yes, thanks, Carol, for doing all this. You know, I know it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, you organized it. I mean, you got us the passes, the parking, and everything. So.
Well, there you are, John. Can you hear us now? Yeah. Well, I can't tell you guys, Arturo and Hiron, for y'all to drive 9 hours, but really 19 hours to come be a part of it. We're just so glad that we could all be together that weekend. I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, thanks for having us, really.
No,
yeah. I mean, that was the real reason for us coming down, was just to hang out with y'all. So.
Yep.
Well, that was one of the best parts of it, no doubt. And thank you, John, for always being our leader and just keeping us going in the right direction and not slowing down and just having everybody motivated like you do. You're the best, so we appreciate it.
Well, and, you know, it goes back the other way, Carol. You know, there's very few out there that hasn't been through stuff like me and Aaron and Arturo that just naturally lead from the front. And that's your natural state, kiddo. And it's a great thing to see.
Thanks, John. I'm so honored to do any of this with you guys. I mean, to do stuff like this with you guys is just such an honor. And Jennifer too. I'm sorry she couldn't join us tonight, but she's just such an inspiration. So we appreciate her, and Catalina and Bill also. All right, so we'll talk to you guys soon. Check us out, fat2fithhq.com/128 is tonight's episode. Talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks again.
Hey, fellow gun runners. It's Jen, and sorry I couldn't join you guys for the live discussion, recap of our crazy Tough Mudder Las Vegas. Sporting the headband. Carol asked me to go ahead and kind of give my thoughts of the whole event, and so I thought I would go ahead and do that. So, first off, I, of course, was not sure I would participate. I was really not feeling like I could even do anything. I really felt walking the course was going to be difficult. Started out not so easy. The course was very hilly. At least I felt it was very hilly. We started off and it was just up. And I didn't feel it was ever going to come back down. I literally think we ran walked the whole course uphill. I don't think we ever came downhill. No, it was very challenging. First time I've ever done one of these things. Carol, were you on your 7th? That was your 7th. Hammer Jammer John did his 2nd in 6 months, which is amazing. So I was very happy to do one. And I do want to thank you, John, for giving me some tips on how to get up those darn hills. Wow. I didn't imagine, I didn't think that just, looking down and not, looking where you're going was actually going to help. And it actually did. So, because that way I didn't know how far up further the hill we had to go. So, but yeah, I had anticipated on just walking along with the group. I was a participant, so I knew I could go everywhere. Unlike in Chicago, where I was just a spectator, and that was very difficult. So I started off, got some, camera footage. I had a backpack with on-course nutrition, as we call it. It didn't last very long, though. We got to the first obstacle, which was I think it was the beached whale. We did that one. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. You got to kind of get up the rope or up a short rope, and you have people up top there that help you over. So that was cool. Second obstacle was a wall with a rope, as I called it, the gym class rope. Didn't get there. Did not get over it. Jen doesn't know how to climb a rope. Jen hasn't tried to climb a rope in 40 years. Jen didn't get very far. So 2 obstacles attempted out of 2. So I felt I was doing pretty good. A couple more obstacles, and I was skipping and that. But I did. It was interesting. The first obstacle, I was kind of like, okay, I can, I'll give this a try. And then it was, I was like, okay, well, I'll try this one that, this climbing one that's going to be very, very difficult for me. And it was. But at that point, I was like, okay, here's the deal. I want to play too. And I just said heck with it. I'll do what I can do. And if I can't do something, I'll tag out, or I'll just skip it. So, for the most part, the climbing obstacles I skipped. I didn't even try those. You have to get you got to get up high enough to where someone can help you. And, there's just so many of those. I just really didn't see that as an option. So I just decided to do ones I felt I could do. And so I did. I think I only did maybe 7 or 8 total obstacles. And I felt pretty darn good about that, I didn't feel like I had to do all of them. I didn't feel like I had to prove anything to anybody else. I just had to prove to myself that I could finish this thing. So lots of stops at every watering hole, watering station, whatever. And just a lot of fun. Carol, your friends from Houston were amazing. And of course, Bill doing every obstacle and only, failing, if you want to say there is such a thing, on ringing the bell. He did all of them, and he's a total rock star. But it was just fun, talking with you on parts of the course, talking with John, talking with Heron, talking with your friends from Houston. I can never remember her name, and I'm so sorry. But it was, doing one of these things. I'm all over the place, I know, but doing one of these things, you can't do it alone. Physically you can't do it alone because you do need help, but also I think mentally you can't do it alone. The most fun of the whole thing was the fact that we were all together and just, giving each other encouragement, pushing each other, I can't do this. Yes, you can. I'm not going to do this. Yes, you are. Carol did not make me do anything I didn't want to, because again, I wasn't sure I wanted to do much. But I got to that point. I'm like, this was like in Chicago. I was just waiting and watching, and I didn't want to do that. So I said I wanted to play with my friends. So, I did. Got some footage. Didn't get some footage. Forgot my GoPro waterproof case. So the GoPro didn't get any footage. I got some, but not enough that really is probably going to be useful. I was really hoping to get some, going through the obstacles. Yeah, it is what it is. There were some really cool obstacles. I liked the one water where we kind of had to go over. It was basically like a board, and it you got on it, and the other people on the other side are getting on it, so it kind of goes over, and you got to go over with it. That one was a lot of fun, and I guess that was a new one. Did the Arctic Enema. Wasn't going to, but Heron and Carol were doing it. I said, I'm doing it. That was tough. Could not get over the wall in the middle. I had to stop and really kind of work on that. So let's see. And really, those were probably the most, I think, fun and challenging for me. It didn't require all that upper body strength. It really was more of just kind of being, using your whole body, which was good. Mud wise, the obstacles didn't really have what I would consider a lot, just because we were in the desert, piping water in from the lake, because there was a man-made lake there where it was at, the resort area that it was at. You can only do so much in the desert, but there was enough. There was some, but that kind of maybe was a little bit disappointing. I thought maybe a little more slogging through stuff, but there were some obstacles I didn't do that I wish I had done. I think one of those was going under. You were in a river, a little creek basically, and you had to go under some obstacles and pop back up and go under. Kind of wish I'd have done that one. The birth canal, kind of wish I'd have given that a try, even though that thing looks so scary. But, and then I think there was a couple others towards the end that I kind of wish I'd have done. But at that point, it were just I just need to get to the end, And, the best part of the whole thing is the fact that we all finished. We got to the end there. Bill went through the electroshock therapy, and he got beaten up. And there was this lady in there. Oh my gosh, I felt so bad for her, but she basically got stuck, and she just kept getting zapped, and it was like no one was helping her. Just felt so bad for her. So that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. So yeah, but it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I did it. And I've signed up for one next year. So I signed up for Chicago. So I've not created a team or anything. However, if anyone out there is interested in doing one next year, Jen will be in Chicago. Feel free to, you can, Carol can get you contact information. I'm not sure how, You can contact her to contact me, whatever. You can contact me on my Girls Like Guns 2 YouTube channel. But I'll be there. I'd love to have people help with me, go with me. Carol, I know it's still early, but, I hope you can come. But if not, I would totally understand. I am throwing a challenge out, though, to a couple of people. I hope they'll watch this. Deb Sue and Kristen. You two either need to come participate or you need to come watch. I want to see you guys in, well, it won't be Chicago. It'll actually be in Rockford, but I want to see you there. I really want to see you there. But that's really it. Overall, very happy I completed this. I didn't feel like I did something that I couldn't do, that I was going to hurt myself. I did not injure myself at all, which was very cool. My feet were in really good shape, considering. I was really worried about my feet. And again, we all finished. We all had fun. I think we all had fun. Yeah, it was a wonderful time. I'm really glad I did it. Carol, Hammerjammer, Heron, Arturo, thank you guys so much for the video. I'm working on getting that video created, so you guys were totally rocking the cameras. Yeah, it was just fun. It was just a great time that whole weekend. I know Carol had a lot of you had a lot of things going on at home that kind of kept some of your focus, but I'm glad you were still able to have some fun too. So, gun runners, thank you so much for letting me be a part of your awesome team. Definitely gonna miss the gun runners in Chicago. Maybe I'll have to come up with a team name. I don't know, but I hope some of you guys can maybe join me in Chicago. But if not, I completely understand. So, you guys have a great one. Thank you so much. And those of you out there watching, you can do this. I am a 215-pound overweight, out of shape slug. It's really the only word I can think of. And I finished this thing and did not injure myself. You can do this. You do what you can do. Skip what you can't. So, yeah. Well, you guys have a great one, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, so I'm sure you can not care any less about my technical issues, but I am having so many problems with my computer, and I hope to get this podcast out someday soon. I can't get the video into iMovie to even put it together. So if you're getting to see this anywhere near the end of 2015, yay, Carol. But I did want to just wrap up and say that I really appreciate everybody. I really appreciate the community. I'm sorry I'm not available to be such a big part of it anymore. But I've been so inspired these last 3 years by people who are not giving up like I am right now. Because it's so hard to navigate everything. And I'm going to draw on that. I'm actually going to go back and watch old episodes because I know all I need is a little inspiration, but I'd prefer to get through the holidays before I really get serious. That's a cop-out, but that's the American way. So go do something healthy, and hopefully we will chat soon, or you'll hear me and Jake Challand chat soon, or maybe JT. Oh my gosh. But really, I really wanted to make an effort to get this episode out because those gun runners, man, you just can't beat a group of people like that. And just huge thanks and props. And okay, so take care and keep being awesome, everybody. Bye. Night. Now I can't even close this. Okay. Bye. We hope you enjoyed that video. You can find us at fat2fithq.com. And also come over and find us on Facebook. Like our page. There's lots of good stuff going on over there. So thanks again for watching and have a great day.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.